Good morning, Algebra. Today we are going to take a look at rational expressions with like denominators. This is lesson 11.6, found on page 608 in your books. All right, so thinking back to simpler times when we had fractions like 5/12 plus 2/12, remember we had to have a common denominator in order to add them. And then we'd add the numerator. 5 plus 2 is 7. And the denominator stays the same, 12s. Well, we're going to do the same thing today, only now our numerators are going to be a little more complex, as well as our denominators. So, if I have 3n over 12 plus 7n over 12, I can add 3n plus 7n, which would give me 10n, and my denominator stays the same. So as long as my denominator, I have a common denominator, I can add those. Now, I could reduce this as well. I can see that 2 goes in here 5 times and 2 goes in here 6 times. So really this could be simplified to 5n over 6. Okay? Let's take a look at another one. What if I have 2x over x plus 1 plus 2 over x plus 1. Okay? Now, the denominators are the same, so I can add 2x plus 2, 2x plus 2 over x plus 1. Now, if I look at the top, I can factor out a 2. And if I factor out a 2, then I'm left with x plus 1, and that's all over x plus 1. Okay, so now I can reduce x plus 1 and x plus 1, and I'm left with 2 when it's all simplified out. Okay, now I can apply this to some geometry. Some of the problems that you'll have will ask you for the perimeter of a shape. Now, how can you find the perimeter of a parallelogram? Well, let's look at this parallelogram, PQRS. So if I have this parallelogram, PQRS, all right, and PQ is 4a plus 5b, 4a plus 5b over 3a plus 7b. And this distance is 2a plus 3b over 3a plus 7b. The formula for perimeter of a parallelogram, the perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay? And in this case, the length is this one here, and we'll say that's the width. Okay? So the perimeter would be 2 times 4a plus 5b over 3a plus 7b, and plus 2 times 2a plus 3b over 3a plus 7b. Okay? Now, I can write this as 2 times 4a plus 5b plus 2 times 2a plus 3b all over 3a plus 7b, because our denominators are the same. I already have a common denominator. Okay? And then I can multiply this out. 2 times 4a would be 8a. 2 times 5b would be 10b. 2 times 2a would be 4a. And 2 times 3b would be 6b. And then I can combine like terms, and this is all over 3a plus 7b. So now when I combine the 8a's there and the 4a's there, I have 12a's plus, I got 10b's here and 6b's there, plus 16b's, all over 3a plus 7b. Okay? Now, can I factor anything out? If I look at this, I could factor out a 4. And if I factor out a 4, then I'm left with 3a plus 4b. And that's over 3a plus 7b. And that's as simplified as I can get this problem. Okay? All right, let's take a look at subtracting rational expressions. What if I have something like this? 3x plus 4 over x minus 2 minus x minus 1 over x minus 2. Okay? So I have a common denominator, right? X minus 2, x minus 2. And now I can combine the numerators. Now, instead of subtracting is the same as adding the opposite. So as I rewrite this, I'm going to have 3x plus 4, and then I'm going to change this subtraction to addition, but then I have the opposite of x minus 1. Okay? And that's all over x minus 2. All right? Now, the opposite of, let's just say that's like a negative 1 times x would be negative x. So I have 3x plus 4 minus x, and negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1 over x minus 2. Combine like terms. Here I have 3 x's and a negative x, so I have 2 x's, and here I have a 4 and a 1 plus 5 over x minus 2. And that's as simplified as we can get. So we're done there. Now, what if we have inverse denominators? That's the last piece. Okay, so let's take a look at that. If I have 2m over m minus 9 plus 4m over 9 minus m. Okay, they're called inverse denominators because they're the opposite. They're just flipped around. Okay, so what can I do here? Well, 9 minus m, if I flip that around, this would be the opposite of m plus 9, right? The opposite of m plus 9. But I could factor out a negative 1, and if I factor out a negative 1, then it would be negative m, the opposite of m minus 9. And then I have my m minus 9 and my m minus 9. So if I rewrite this, I have 2m over m minus 9 plus 4m over the opposite of m minus 9. Now this isn't quite where I want it to be because I want to get rid of that opposite sign. So what I can do is I can put it up here. Adding the opposite is the same as subtracting. Subtracting is the same as adding the opposite, so I can flip those. So instead of adding this, I can subtract this. Instead of adding the opposite, I can subtract it. So I have 2m over m minus 9 minus 4m over m minus 9. And now my denominators are the same, so I can simply subtract. 2m minus 4m. 2m minus 4m is a negative 2m, and then my denominator is m minus 9. Totally simplified right there, and that's all there is to it. That's it for this lesson. As always, if you have questions, please call, text, email, or join me online tomorrow between 9 and 10 o'clock, and I'd be happy to answer whatever questions you have. Have a fantastic day.